This is Porcelanosa, one of my favorite tiles to use. It's a company. They really make really high-end great tile. Let's take this shape, for instance. You see this sort of pattern that sort of just wraps around like an S shape. Each tile to tile is going to match up perfectly to each other and continue that shape throughout. Even with the grout lines are going to be so invisible, you need the smallest amount of grout possible. Other tiles are not very forgiving. You know, one tile to the next is not going to sit the same, so you have to be very careful when you lay them. But these tiles are like, people love using them because they just sit so perfectly together. Hey everyone, welcome to Design and Invest. I am your host, William John Raitt. In this episode, we are doing a ride along, a lot of job sites to visit today and places to see. Today we're starting off over here underneath the Hollywood sign, as you see in the background. This is a project that I've been working on for a while, and we'll go over the details and you'll check it out. It's gonna be a pretty awesome property. All right, so this property is in an area called Lake Hollywood. It's a beautiful kind of secluded pocket up here in Hollywood, and the house that's behind you is the house that I'm working on. It started off as just a renovation. They're going to add some square footage, and then once they started digging into the house and getting down to it, there was extensive termite damage, and the house just basically needed to be completely built from ground up. Basically is what they did. They left like one wall up which is a kind of a trick a lot of contractors do to not pull ground up permits. They're actually pulling remodel permits, so they go quicker and you can build quicker. But they just leave like one wall up, and then that wall usually ends up getting, you know, feathered in and reframed too. But yeah, bad termites up here. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the area, but usually for a home, this home I think was built in the 60s or 70s, so it wasn't a terribly old house. You usually see termite damage with really old houses, like built in the 20s and things like that. But so it's kind of surprising that it was as bad as it was. But we're gonna jump in. I have my window guy over here working on the property. I was hired to just do the design work on this. I'm also throwing in some project management just to help push things along, because this contractor is not really used to doing this sort of caliber of home, so I kind of need to hold their hand a little bit more than normal. This one we're doing all aluminum, black aluminum windows and doors. We're doing a big pivot door in the front. My guy Eddie does all my doors, and most of my houses I do these big giant aluminum pivot doors. So he's hard at work over there, and now we're gonna go check in on the progress and see how things are moving along. It's gonna move pretty quick now that we're ready for all the roughs. I think they're rough plumbing, rough this. They're gonna need all the valves soon, and so a lot more attention is gonna be needed on this property. But it just got finished being framed not too long ago, so now it's time for me to get to work. Let's go. All right, we're sitting here with Eddie, the window and glass extraordinaire. He does all of my glass work for the custom homes. And Eddie, what are we doing here? This is a big pivot door. It's like a 6-foot pivot door.
Yeah, it's a balance door, and you know, we got a 20-inch offset going, which is good. You know, it gives you an illusion where you can go in on one side or the other, so it's pretty cool when you open it. You know, we got a big handle going on it. Some film, some film on it.
Also, we'll reference a couple jobs that he's done for me in the past. The windows over at Walgrove, at Clemens, he even did Dempsey. He does a lot of doors, these doors and windows and stuff for me. So he's the man. We'll drop in his info too, so you can contact him directly. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll let you get back to work. I'm gonna go check on everything. Okay, right now we are in the living room space of this property. We have several different sort of zones and everything of the living. This is more like a formal living, you know, off of the entrance. Over here they got the cans sort of spotted in. We're gonna have to make some adjustments. Along the wall you'll see that I chose to do like 4-inch directional cans, and that's for like, this is like a really great art wall right here. So when you put art up against here, you can downlight and direction the light towards the art. It's something that I do in bigger homes that where art is something that needs to be, you know, sort of pronounced. And then the rest of the house, you have 6-inch cans throughout. Over here, this area right here, we got a little tricky. When you're dealing with vaulted ceilings like this, not vaulted, but like you really have really high plates. This is, I think, is like 12 feet or 10 feet. I think it's 12 feet ceilings. It leaves very little room for ducts, for for plumbing and drain lines and vents and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So you have to get really creative by doing chases and soffits and dropping ceilings and furring out walls and doing things to sort of accommodate these the equipment needed. Over here, in order to fish the line up into the master sort of toilet and drains and all the line, we had to build out a soffit or something. So we're gonna build out a fireplace here, do a direct vent. So it's kind of a happy surprise where we have a fireplace feature in this living space. In addition, you know, it serves the purpose up top to like sort of hide all the plumbing and stuff, so it's not, you know, exposed. But we don't want to. We want to make sure we take advantage of these high ceilings and keep them the way that they are. But yeah, it's a great floor plan. It's really big and open. I wasn't really involved on the floor plan design as much as, you know, fixing the problems and doing all this stuff. Now that we're on site and actually framing in the front, we're gonna do the server closet for all of the smart home stuff. Well, I need to bring my guy Matt over here pretty soon and get him involved so we can start running all of the wires for the speakers, and, you know, we'll probably have like at least 4 or 5 zones here. And the whole package. We'll do the brilliant system, the, you know, alarms wired to all the windows, all of that stuff. So we're gonna need that done really quick. Okay, so in this house we are also doing linear diffusers, all of the air ducts. Definitely want to do that now that it's kind of becoming an expected thing for higher homes. This is going to sell for upwards, you know, $3+ million. So we want to make sure we bring it on everything, and everything is meeting the sort of expectations that buyer will definitely have. So we're in the kitchen right now. It's a nice big space. We're gonna really bring it on the appliances, everything oversized and brand named. You'll probably do Viking or Wolf or something in here, and maybe a Sub-Zero fridge. So, you know, when you get to this price point, you're gonna spend quadruple, you know, 5 times on every single item. You know, like a stove that, you know, you could put in an apartment that's $800. Here it's gonna be $8,000. You know, and that's just the reality of it. But again, when you're dealing with a home that's going to sell for $3.5 million and you're underneath the Hollywood sign, it's a must. Okay, so this space here is basically the den, and if you see over here, you'll see what I'm talking about with running the ducts. Like this soffit that's built has to house all the duct work and, you know, just the drain lines, the copper lines, everything. So we dropped it in this area because this is the hallway. Most likely we're probably gonna have to extend it out a little bit more. I'm gonna suggest we do at least so the symmetry is in this space. Maybe even drop a soffit around the entire space over here to give it more of a coffered ceiling look. But to be determined, they're still working on some adjustments and getting things going. But, you know, worst case scenario, it's fine because it's all in this area here, like hallways and such. So they dropped all of this area. And here's where the equipment's gonna be. You see the air return right here. This is gonna be the one of the units. I think we have 2 units in this house, and yeah, looking good. Nice big picture window at the top of the staircase. And if you go up there, you should be able to see the Hollywood sign too. We try to capture it in every possible area, so that way because it's such a focal point up here. That's why people are buying this house, because you're underneath the Hollywood sign. And so it's a real exclusive area up here, so you want to definitely capitalize that in every front. This room over here is going to be the sort of a movie room. In this area right here, we're gonna do a bar slash like kind of a popcorn station. Also man cave, whatever you want to call it, but that's gonna be the TV wall over there. And then you float your chairs over here. We're gonna do blackout curtains and window treatment. So, you know, like the other house we did at Wallgrove where you basically just say, Alexa, movie time. And then boom, everything just turns into the zone of movie time. It's a pretty cool feature. And this house definitely deserves a movie room. And it's right off the pool too. So if you wanna use it as a sort of flex space or an area to come in and just play, here's a big slider right off the pool. The pool was in really good shape. Unfortunately, now that the scope of work has changed from just a remodel to a full-blown new construction, we're gonna have to redo the pool. It's a shame, but you know the shape is fine. But new tile, likely new plaster, and you know some updated lights that are hooked up to the smart system, things like that are gonna have to be redone. So also in the corner of this room, we have a bathroom. So that'll be the accessible bathroom for the pool. People passing through, running around. You know, you're watching a movie, you need to go use the restroom. And so it's technically an ensuite bedroom, but we're gonna be decking it out and hooking it up as a media room slash man cave. All right, we are in the master suite right now. Views of the Hollywood sign right behind us in every possible angle. We want to, like I said, take advantage of that. Over here, we got 2 possible bed walls. Well, actually 3. This is going to be the bed wall because you're laying in bed, you're looking at the Hollywood sign, but also we're wiring that wall to where if they wanted to put it on that wall, they could as well. But that's going to be the media wall right there. In this corner, we're going to do up this little as a kind of a coffee station for the room. Wine bar, coffee station. You have 2 badass master closets here. This is one of them, and it has a window of the Hollywood sign as well. Everybody needs a view from their closet of the Hollywood sign. And then we have another one around the corner, so with 2. We also have tons of space here for all kinds of stuff. Over here is a sitting room, kind of like a little living room in your master, and a gigantic deck off of here that overlooks the lake. So come check out the lake. This is Lake Hollywood right here. And this is another feature. So having this, Lake Hollywood, as well as having the Hollywood sign on the other side are 2 really big benefits of this house. So we are entering the master bathroom. Let me walk through the sort of format. So you walk in, big double vanity to your left. You have a half wall that separates the toilet room over there. You don't want to, we'll probably enclose that entire space with glass. Top it with glass and have a glass door in the front. Nobody wants to look at anybody taking a poop in the in a house this sort of caliber. On this side we have the master shower. Nice big shower. It's gonna have a rain. It's gonna have off the wall. We'll have some body jets. You know, all the whole shebang. In that corner underneath the window that overlooks the Hollywood sign is going to be a soaker tub right there, and we'll drop probably right now there's a can above it. We'll probably drop a nice chandelier over that corner to define that space, and that's a great photograph too. Have you a picture right here, Hollywood sign? You know, with the tub right here floating, with water coming off of here, like a nice action shot. That's one of those shots that sells a home. So if you see here, there's just hordes of people walking up to the Hollywood sign because this is a very prominent entry point, hiking trail to the Hollywood sign. So there's hordes of people always parking up and down the street. Kind of a negative, but at the same time, it's also kind of a positive because it's just such a happening area that everybody knows about it. And it's one of those things like if you live next to Runyon Canyon, you know, that's can be looked at as being a negative, but for most people it's like, that's a positive. That's Runyon Canyon, you know? This is the same sort of thing. So. Okay, so the person buying this house is most likely gonna be like their 3rd, 4th, 10th house. Somebody with really deep pockets. I'd be really surprised if somebody got a loan on this property. It's gonna be one of those like all cash buyers. Oh, how much? 4 million? Okay, like just like the uber elite that just want to be underneath the Hollywood sign and have a view of the Hollywood Lake, the famous Hollywood Lake. And yeah, it's an interesting buyer, but with that buyer you have to have a lot of fun factors, a lot of fun things like media room, like we're doing, proper office, you know, like 2 living rooms, den, living room. I mean, you got to really bring it for this buyer, but that I think is the demographic. Okay, we are at our next stop. This is the Edwin property in the Hollywood Hills, Laurel Estates, this whole area up here. It's a really unique part of the Hollywood Hills because there's a lot of flat area up here, which is not very typical. Usually you see the windy roads, you know, that go on forever. This leads up to there, but it flattens out and you have killer views. It's a really nice family neighborhood, very quiet. I did a property just down the street, Skyline Drive, and that was a fantastic property. My wife, it's her favorite property that we did, and it says something about this area. This home here, the Edwin property, is like a proper estate. I mean, this thing, look at the stairway. I mean, this is like a boss stairway. Obviously needs to be refinished. We're taking these rails off. We're doing rails on each side. So it leads up with a nice big berth in the middle, like a stairway. We had an inspection yesterday over here. We were having problems getting things passed, and you know, finally I came up here and said, you know what, let me just meet with inspector. It went really clean. We're closing up the walls now. The next inspection will be the drywall nailing inspection, and then we're gonna move really fast on this now. We got all the trades lined up. The stucco guys are cranking away. They've got the brown coat on it now, and the mesh. So next stage is to do the smooth coat, stucco finish, and things are gonna be moving. We got rid of all the brush and all the crap out of the front here. We're gonna tear down a few more of these little cypress trees that are ugly. We're gonna keep this tree that separates the neighbors and us for privacy purposes, but really that's the only neighbor. Everywhere else, this is like kind of a little cul-de-sac type of, well, it is a cul-de-sac. It leads to one grand estate that basically the person owns the whole hillside over there on the other side, but you have no neighbors around here. So this is not a new property. I've been working on this one for some time now. I started off just doing interior design for them, but it turned to being more of a management role, project management, which I'm happy to do for this client, very good client of mine. And then I'm seeing it to the finish and making sure that things go good. Let's go inside, check on progress, see if the drywall work has begun. Not sure it has. I know that they're gonna be cranking away next couple days, but I do know that we're doing a lot of other stuff inside to finish before we close these walls up. But we are good. We got the approval to close them up, so let's crank away. Okay, so at the top of the stairs here, we're gonna have a real big boss gate that's basically it's not going to be see-through. It's going to be completely blackout for privacy. And we're going to have I don't know, I think it's that side or this side. We're going to have a intercom and camera set up, and then you know, this is going to be a hell of an entrance. Alright, so we got the mud on site. The drywall guys have all their materials coming. They're going to be cranking through this real quick, closing these walls up. And we got some other guys over here finishing some flooring. The living room over here is sunken down, and I don't like that. It's not hard to bring it up to the level so it's all even, this entire space. So that's what we're doing. They're building it up and putting the subfloor down, and it'll be easier to run wires and stuff anyways. And, but what that does is it kind of creates a domino effect, because everything around it, now all the doors have to go up, the headers have to go up, all the electrical has to go up, the switches have to go up to accommodate for that new space, because you're down, you know, 8-10 inches, and then now you're flush, so everything just, but the ceiling height, everything is good there, so it's going to be super clean. In this area here, we continue to soffit all the way in here. This is going to be the dining room. So we had to finish that off. So we're good to close these walls now and put the floors on, prep the floors for wood. We had some adjustments that we needed to make for the kitchen. We needed to run an additional line to where the island's gonna go here. So we had to run an additional line in the floor to power the microwave. as well as the just outlets for the island. Garbage disposal. There's going to be a sink right here, little prep sink, and but yeah, we're good. We got the under cabinet lights sort of queued up and ready to go. Actually, I don't see those. I need to talk to the contractor about that. But yeah, we're looking really good. It's gonna go really fast now here. So this too is also a $3+ million house. A lot of things you have to do here that are in line with that sort of price point. This is a cool little space here that we're gonna be staging as kind of like an additional sitting room area where the kids can play their video games. We wired it all for TV and stuff. So put a little TV console there, a table here, not a table, but a sofa, some sitting. We have a big picture window right here, taking advantage of the view. This one doesn't have Hollywood signs, but this is the Hollywood Hills with views of the valley, and it's quite beautiful. I mean, look at the size of this window. There's film on it now, so it's not as impressive, but it's a great view. So they use these big old gangster pieces of drywall. Think about this is the top floor. They had to bring a forklift in here and raise it up to the top floor and then bring it in through these doors. So this is one by one too. Like once they got it up here, this is a pretty substantial amount of material. Look at these pieces. This is like, I think they're like 9-foot pieces. This is the easiest way. This is professional drywall workers right here, man. This is not the Home Depot crap that is like, 6-8 feet. This is the big gangster stuff that will get you big stretches. Bop, bop, bop. When they do this, it goes so quick. They get in here, they'll probably have this whole house 80% done in one day with that, and then they come on top of it with the taping. In between, you need to get inspections on the nailing, make sure that the nails are all good. Every level there's inspections for the insulation, inspections for the framing, the rough plumbing, the rough electrical. I've got a permit card that has a freaking 100 signatures on it that are all the different levels. You got to do it by the book though, because if you get caught for stupid stuff, it doesn't make any sense to have to go back and redo your work when you can just do it right the first time. And the fees are not very expensive for permitting, especially for homes like this. It's a drop in the bucket, but doing it by the book is always the right way. Okay, so we had the jacuzzi and pool guy. He did all of his work already. He's just waiting till the end so he can actually plaster the pool. It doesn't look like it's almost done, but it basically is. He's got the tile already in. We're gonna smooth stucco that back wall right there, so it's nice and clean and white and smooth stuccoed. He had to enlarge the size of the jacuzzi. It was like a football before. It was like super small and awkward, and so he enlarged it with a new dam. And so we're good to go on this front. He's got all the equipment in, all the plumbing. He had to reroute everything and replumb everything. I think you require 2 drain lines and a supply line and all these like new regulations and stuff for pool equipment. Not how they used to build it back in the days. The pool is existing. We didn't reshape the pool so much as the jacuzzi and such, but it's a beautiful pool, and it's gonna look great when it's done. Okay, so I want to talk about stucco real quick, and good stucco jobs versus bad stucco jobs. This stucco guy is a pro. I've used them before. Here on this side right here is the scratch and brown coat. Okay, usually they'll apply the stucco straight on top of this if it's like a sand finish stucco or something that's like a little different grades. But when you're doing smooth stucco, the best way and really the only way to do it, like that's the proper way, is to put mesh down. So you see this right here, you see this little mesh coating here. He hasn't done this stretch yet, but he did this already. And he put it down, and then he covered it quickly with just like some more concrete. And then on top of this, they put the smooth coat of the stucco. Before he can do the stucco work on the outside, we need to make sure that all of the drywall on the inside is complete. Otherwise, this is all gonna crack. And the reason why you put the mesh is that so it doesn't crack anyways. With smooth stucco, it always cracks a little bit, usually around joints of windows, this and that. But if you do not apply a mesh like this, it'll 100% crack on you. And it's just the right way to do it. And this will last through earthquakes. It'll do really, really well. Also, we're choosing a white smooth stucco, so if there is any cracks, we can fill it fairly easily and blend it in real nice. Yeah, if we were to do this out of order and have them just go ahead and finish their job, it would be a nightmare. Everything would be cracked because inside they're gonna bang and push on the walls and do the drywall work. That needs to be done first, then they can come in and smooth stucco it. So, order of operations, very important. So this is a great feature of the house. This was like a weird little garage looking thing, but it's really like a pool cabana. And this is perfectly located right here. So we blew out this wall so it had that open air feeling. We're not gonna put doors, it's just gonna be staged with some lounges inside and kind of like a cool kick it area in the back. Like you would see poolside at a Hollywood hotel or at a Vegas hotel or something, a resort. So cleared this out. So when you're in here hanging out, grabbing some drinks, relaxing, getting out of the sun. And over here on this side, this sort of cove over here, we're gonna put a built-in barbecue along this wall with some cool features like barbecue, little fridge, place to put some a tray of drinks. It's gonna be a great little area. This is gonna be entertainment paradise back here. So this overhang here, this sort of covered porch, was a bit of a ugly eyesore before. What we're doing here is really cool. This had these columns had really ugly kind of capitals on top that looked, I don't know, Doric. It wasn't fitting to the home, so I chopped those off and put a real fat fascia board around it, wrapping it. Underneath, we're gonna put some ipe wood or some, Doug fir, interlocking Doug fir underneath here. Stain it so it looks really beautiful. Then we contrast with nice white smooth stucco. We got the sconces. We have 3 of them on this side. They're gonna be nice black contrasting, matching the windows. Recessed lights we popped in straight down here. We have a couple speakers out here, 2 cameras. It's gonna be an awesome epicenter. And then over here, this is a window. This window goes into the kitchen. Nice big window. So I'm gonna create a pass-through effect. So when you open the window, I'm building a little bar right here that overhangs on the sides. You can pull up a couple bar stools to it and then hang out and pass through stuff, onto this. Use it as a buffet for people that are out here for drinks, whatever. It's a great idea. I've done it before. It looks really cool. And this space here also gives you a little privacy if you want to come out here, watch your kids swim, and have a drink and just hang out. It's a great area. At the other house, I was talking a little bit about the buyer of that house and who's gonna be basically buying that. And you gotta make sure that you design to a house who the buyer is gonna be. A lot of the features that I'm doing for this house are really geared towards family activities and families, because this is more of a family buyer right here. This is probably, I don't know, a high-level exec at one of the studios, or somebody that maybe works on the west side, because you're right up here perched in the hills, to where you spill over the hill to that side, you're in the west side. You spill over this side and you're in the valley. And so this is probably like a high-paying executive or executives or a studio dude, and his kids probably go to school, Mulholland Drive, a private school. This is definitely geared more towards a private family. Up here, you're nestled in the hills, so you don't really have any neighbors. It's completely private. You're also perched up on top of sort of an estate type of vibe, so you don't have looky-loos looking in on you like the other house. This one could also be an actor. This could be somebody that wants their privacy and respects and really values that, because the way that this house is situated, this part in the backyard is all facing the hill. So this is all private. You could sunbathe out here in the nude. Nobody's seeing you. Nobody can see you. There's no other houses. There's nothing. Up here you have one gigantic estate. I can't even see where the house is on the top of that hill. It's not. I think it's on the other side of the hill. This neighbor over here is covered by 15, 20 feet of foliage and hillside. And over here there's nobody, and then you're in this cul-de-sac, so it's a very private home. You get the views of the hillside, the valley on this side of the house, but you're so high up that nobody's seeing into your house. Plus, any sort of glass or anything you have, you can have that tinted to where nobody sees in, but you can see out type of deal. But yeah, so that's probably the buyer here. And the other buyer is going to be probably somebody who is a second, third, fourth house that they just want to brag and say they have a house underneath the Hollywood sign in Lake Hollywood. That's more of a party bachelor type vibe, or a second, fifth, 10th home. This is more of a I'm moving up and being private and sheltering my family type of house and buyer, but with a lot of money. We have some awesome smart home features here too. We have cameras covering the entire grounds, speakers, we have electronic strikes at the front gate. I mean, anything that this buyer would need and expects at this level of home, we have here, and more. I mean, it's going to be awesome. We even have monitors we'll have on the kitchen counters, showing the entire property, sort of cascaded, you know, security cameras, it's some cool features. Look at how awesome this house is, how it's like perched up on the estate. That's an estate right there. But I mean, look at your neighbors. They're no slobs either. Look at directly next door. Look at this beautiful house. Another $3 million there, $4 million there. Look at this one over here in the corner. I mean, this is who you're up against over here. So you got to bring it, and it's got to be something special. This house, in my opinion, is way more special than those ones. Those ones have neighbors directly to the sides and in back. You're not back to the hillside here as private of an estate and perched up like this one is. So in my opinion, this one smokes those ones. And it has a 3-car garage opposed to a 1-car garage, you know, or small 2-car garage. All right, next stop over here is Shadow Hills property, the Siesta property that my investment. Checking on things over here. You know, we're demoing. We've got the dumpster in the back. We've got the crew full-blown demo mode. So let's check on things, see how things are pushing forward, and give them any instructions if need be. I know the contractor's out of the country right now until next week, so they might have some questions that I'll be able to answer. And plus, I want to check on things. So let's go check it out. Okay, so they're doing a lot of rough work right now, which is good. Most of the demo is done. It just needs to be hauled away. Like right here, for instance, we're running electrical to the fireplace. So this is going to be an area where people watch TV and stuff. So we're wiring this all up in here. This stone, this old flagstone, it used to be very popular. Some people love it. People are going to watch this video and hate that I'm taking it out. You know, but it is what it is. It's not up to date. It's not modern, so we're gonna get rid of it. It's very 50s, which is this house is. It's very mid-century, but we're doing away with it. We're gonna tile over the entire thing, and we're making sure that we're wired in, so it's modern living. And we have this cool floating hearth, which we're gonna keep and just retile that. But I like that it's floating. It's pretty cool. We're gonna box this in this weird sort of I don't even know what the hell it's for. Maybe a telephone or something. But we're canceling everything back there, and we're boxing this in, redoing the fireplace, all new flooring, new cans. The windows are really good. The majority of them are fine, and so we're gonna keep a lot of stuff here. The AC unit's fine. The roof is new. The freaking we put a new sub panel and a new panel in. We got the meter spot for that already, and so the electrical does need to be updated. So we're updating the electrical, and you know, again, we're doing everything by the book. Here's the kitchen area. So the water heater plug right here, he's working on. It was super bootleg before, so now we're strengthening everything, running some new copper, making sure it's done right. This water heater services the front half of the house. With vaulted ceilings like this, earlier I was talking about how, you know, you have to be creative on ways to run your equipment and stuff because everything's vaulted. You need to run them through walls, and you know, this is also slab foundation, so you can't run it under the foundation. And so you have to be real creative. So in this particular house, there's 2 water heaters. One in the back that services the back bedrooms and bathrooms, and one in the front that services the kitchen and whatever's needed on this side of the house. Also, the HVAC system is newer, and it's a little small for the house, but it's sufficient. It'll get the job done. And up here, there's so much breeze and nice. You open a window, and it jets through the house, and it'll cool this house. It's really beautiful up here, and it doesn't get like baking hot like the valley. So it's a great house. Great views. This house has a really cool value add. The main house itself is 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, completely awesome house on its own, but then you have this 900 square foot addition that is in the back, and this is not like permitted as a living dwelling or what have you, but we're gonna, you know, finish it off. It's been around for 40 years, 50 years plus, and it is permitted. So what we're gonna do is just use it as kind of a man cave, movie room, just sort of a game house. But it's an additional 900 very important square feet back here, and so come check it out. All right, we are at the next stop right now. We are at the Truce property duplex in North Hollywood. We picked up a month or two ago. We just passed the electrical inspection, and we're ready to start putting things together and finish this puppy up. This is gonna go really quick from here on out. The front house here is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, and then the back house is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, both, you know, single-family homes, and we're gonna keep this property, me and my partners, and you know, for the rest of my life, we're gonna have this property. It's in North Hollywood, great location, very up and coming, very easy and desirable to rent, and it's gonna be slam diggity dunk. Let's go inside, check it out, meet with Oscar, the contractor, and just check in, see how everything's going, and create a game plan for the next steps. Okay, so we're at the back unit right now of the Truce property. This is going to be a 2-bedroom, 1-bath sort of house on its own. This is a duplex, so this is the back house. Entrance straight off of the alley, and it's private. All your trash is serviced back here. Trash the trucks come back here, and so this is its own little entity, its own spot. There's a parking for it. It's go time now. You know, we own it, and it's time to renovate this. So we are gonna go really quick at this point. This over here is a little shed for this back house. There is no garage, so this is a shed for this this unit, and split down the middle. Other half will be for the front house for them for their storage. But really excited about this, and it's gonna be a good one. All right, we're at the next stop right now on the list. This is International Tile and Stone. It's a little noisy out here, sorry. They changed their name to Elite Tile. This is my go-to in North Hollywood. I was around the corner at my last stop, so I thought I'd come over here and spec out some materials for the upcoming job over at Edwin. So let's go see what they have. Check in with Priscilla. So I really need to bring it for this Edwin property. It's going to be $3.5 million, and I've got to put things in here that you just don't normally see, because a home of this caliber, you can't use 24 by 12 inch, you know, just random $2 square foot tile. You got to use big old gangster stuff like this, where it's like slabs and like, I mean, this is tile, so it's not real stone, but they make it so convincing these days. There's some really cool stuff. I'm not a fan of this one. I like this one back here. It's more of like a natural sort of honed finish, which refers to the finish. This is like a flat finish. It's called honed, and then this is like a gloss. But yeah, we need to do some cool stuff. I'm gonna bring in some nice industrial tiles too. But really, I'm here to get some inspirations and ideas before I go to the next level of ordering the tile. There's probably gonna be a 2-week window on ordering. We're probably about 3 to 4 weeks out from actually tiling, so I need to really start thinking about that. Maybe even less, maybe 3 weeks. Yeah, so we only have about a week to make these selections. I have in my head a lot of ideas, but I want to make sure that I get those to my sales rep and sort of plan accordingly. I still need to go write down all the numbers on the measurements and such. But let's look around a little more and see what's new. I love tiles like this that have just texture and depth to them. Like this look, when you put these together in a big format, these are made really nicely. I think this is porcelanosa. They make it really well. So when these are side by side, it looks like one big sheet of like poured in place concrete, which is the look that I want to go for. So this is a good one. Tiles in geometric shapes are really in right now. These are all geometric patterns. I don't think they are actually concrete, but it has that concrete look to them. Real concrete, I've used it before. It's a little difficult to work with. You have to really seal the shit out of it and make sure that it's nice and like good, because the concrete's very porous and stuff. But these are really cool shapes. I haven't seen these. It must be new. I really like this one here. This is like a hexagon with geometrics within it too, you know, shapes, and but also kind of a concrete finish with some earth tones in it. So this is really good. This will balance really nice with like, if it's like on the flooring of a powder room or something where you transition into wood that's like kind of an oaky color, but then you can also bring in concrete and other industrial elements to it. So this is a great transition, like a piece for like a powder room. I'm gravitating towards this one too. I love the shape of it. It's different. I love the aqua colors of it. It's really good, especially somewhere, you know, near where the pool's at. Maybe the pool bathroom in the hallway. It has texture within the tile too, so it's like multi-dimensional. I don't know if that's the right word, but it has a lot of texture, a lot of color, and it's different. You don't normally see it, so I'm gravitating towards that. That puppy. I'm not crazy about using marbles a lot in my design because over time it's not really, it doesn't age well. I mean, you have to seal the heck out of the tile to really make sure that that thing, I mean, like, take this for instance, okay? This is like a Italian marble or Calcutta or something, okay? Looks fantastic, but over time it's gonna look like this or like this because inside of marble, it has iron inside, and so when it oxidizes or your tile basically will rust, which sounds bizarre, but over time with enough exposure to water and elements and stuff, let's say you use this for a shower surround or shower floors, it starts to rust and oxidize over time, and then it'll end up taking on this sort of look instead of this bright white that you signed up for. And even if you seal it, you gotta seal it constantly because if it's on the floor or something, every time your foot rubs it, that sheen is coming off that sealant. It's coming off. So it may look good when you first put it, but over time you're gonna get veins and just discoloration. I mean, again, it depends on what home you're designing and really the type of material too. Because if you're using not marbles, let's say you're using more of a quartzite, it doesn't do that. You know what I mean? With a lot of quartzite, some of it does. Some quartzites do, but the majority of quartzites don't have that sort of rust element and iron inside of it. But it's just an interesting fact on marbles. But they're beautiful. These are beautiful tiles. If you're good with this look right here and that happening, then freaking do it, because it'll be pretty consistent throughout eventually, and it's just awesome looking. But don't expect this to hold up like this forever. This is Porcelanosa, one of my favorite tiles to use. It's a company. They really make really high-end great tile. Let's take this shape for instance. You see this sort of pattern that sort of just wraps around like an S shape. Each tile to tile is going to match up perfectly to each other and continue that shape throughout. Even with the grout lines are going to be so invisible, you need the smallest amount of grout possible. Other tiles are not very forgiving. You know, one tile to the next is not going to sit the same, so you have to be very careful when you lay them. But these tiles are like, people love using them because it just sits so perfectly together, and each one is within millimeters the exact size as the next. So when you're putting them up to each other, some aren't bigger than the others. It's just perfect, and they match up perfect. It's a beautiful tile, beautiful company. Expensive. So when you're doing a house like this that I'm designing right now, it's okay to use this. You could throw it in there. You could spend 15, 20 bucks on a tile and not bat an eye. But if you're on a budget, not the best idea. You're not going to find $3 a square foot porcelanosa tile, you know, or $2 or whatever your budgets are for, you know. So you always have to design to the house, to the neighborhood, to the buyer, and people know when they're shopping for tiles, shopping for a home. They know what kind of tiles, man. Really sophisticated buyers know what kind of valves you're using for plumbing fixtures. Sophisticated buyers know where you're skimping, and they'll move on to the next house. So you got to bring it. And it's bright. I don't see a cloud in the sky, but it's raining. This is some earthquake weather if I've ever seen it. This is nuts. All right, guys, been a long day. I'm home now, calling it quits for the night. I urge you, please, I implore you, check out my other posts, share my content, like my pages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of them. I'm on all of them. Design and invest. And guys, remember, design, invest, and repeat.